Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ask Jameen. I am Nikki Willis, and
I'm Jameen.
What? So every week or so, we come to answer the questions that you have asked us. And today's question is really all about bringing those clarifying questions and those qualifying questions to agents that you might want to work with. So the question for today is, how do I decide which agent I should work with? Here we go. All right. So, babe, how should I decide which agent I should work with? So let's say if you are selling a property, what types of questions should we be asking?
Well, first I wanted to address just a question in general. I've been getting this question emailed to me, messages, social media messages about experience that people have while working with their agent, and during the process they figured out that it was not what they thought it would be, or they wasn't clear on what the agent's role and job was, or they had complaints. And I've even had, people who had different expectations from me or from us in the past. So it's a valid question to ask, but people who are in the process of selling their home.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the process of selling your home, that is what's called a listing agent. So you're interviewing or hiring a realtor to help you sell your property. So questions that you would want to ask that person that you are considering working with is, do they sell properties in the area? So you did you find them by looking at a yard sign? Did you find them online because they had another property in the same area that your house is in? So do they sell in that area? So if you live in Henderson and you work with an agent that only sells properties in Summerlin and they know nothing about Henderson, it may be not a good fit. All agents can usually work in multiple areas, but they have to have a general working knowledge of the area that your property is in.
That's so good. Yeah. Especially like if you're looking at schools, right? Or if it's, close to work, or you want to know about parks and, areas to take your children, it's going to be good that that agent knows that general area and is familiar with that area. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. The second factor is price range. Not to say that somebody who sells, lower end properties can't handle a multi-million-dollar house, but there are specific things. So if you list a condo, condos have more HOA regulations. There's things that you can and can't do. You may not be able to get a certain type of financing with a condo as a house. So the second thing you want to look for in an agent, have they sold or have they listed properties that are in the similar price range as your particular property. So that's a factor too when choosing an agent. And you don't want to say, oh, nobody can handle something, but if you see a track record or a reputation, especially if they're a newer agent or something like that, that's another thing that you might want to consider is price range, being in the relative price range of your home. Have they sold properties in a similar price range?
Yeah, so true. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions that they should be thinking about or asking?
A big thing is, if you're interviewing a listing agent, is it their niche? Is it their area? So if you call a person that generally does investment property or property management, and you have a regular, like, first-time home buyer home, that person may only deal with like numbers, and this property can net this amount per month in rental income, and you need somebody that focuses on staging and marketing and wide angle lens photos and things like that. That may not be their niche. That may not be their area. And similar things, if you have investment property and you are working with somebody who typically does the regular consumer housing, they don't look at the numbers and things like that as much as someone who focuses on first time home buyer or consumer property. So those are things to consider with working with a listing agent, somebody who's going to list your property for sale.
Yeah, that's so true. How you mentioned what their niche is, because I know we've received clients that have said, this was my home for X amount of years, and we didn't feel like they put the love into it, like we thought, and that was just simply because like they're used to, with investment properties, it's a numbers game, right? Mm-hmm. You just flip it and like there's no heart in it, You're just flipping, or do the numbers make sense? Versus somebody that maybe they thought this was going to be their forever home, or maybe it was their forever home, and or a family home, and now they're choosing to sell this home, but it could be just a house for another agent or just another transaction. So you definitely want to ask these types of questions, and it's okay to ask questions.
For sure.
We've had this conversation before where, if you're considering agents, go ahead and ask them questions. Go ahead and be open about, hey, listen, I'm considering a couple of agents. Can I ask you some questions? And a great agent will say, yes, absolutely. Go ahead and ask me what you need, because they want to be a good fit for you too. We want to be a good fit. There are times when we'll tell somebody we're not a good fit for you. We don't want to get into this process and we're not going to meet your needs. So these are good questions to ask, and a great agent will allow you to ask these questions so that you can choose the right one. Okay, so we talked about the selling side, the listing side. Let's talk about the buying, renting, investing side. Let's talk about that side. So what are the questions that we should be asking agents in deciding if we should be working with that person?
The first thing that you should consider is the person new, or this person brand new in real estate. And it's not a knock on brand new agents, but part of the reasons why people have a realtor, they consult a realtor, is we're able to handle objections and we know what to do when a problem arises. So are they new? It's not, you don't want to work with them because they're new, is they may not know how to handle a problem when it arises. Another thing is new agents may not work real estate full time. So your expectations of time of them being available and things like that may be totally different than what they're expecting. So when somebody is looking to buy a home, if they're new, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't work with them, but they should be working under a team, or they should have a mentor. And you don't know that until you have a conversation with them, or interview them, or something to that effect. That's something that you definitely want to consider. Another thing is, do they have knowledge of the programs and things that are available? So if you're a first-time home buyer,
so buying programs.
If they have knowledge of down payment assistance, first-time home buyer programs, and on the other scale, if you're buying a house over $500,000, do they have knowledge of jumbo loans and different things that are available for higher prices?
Properties,
so that's something that you definitely want to take into consideration, and definitely ask that also. Let's see what else. The biggest thing is, you think of real estate or buying a house as a transaction, but it's really a lot of the people that we work with, we develop like relationships. It's more of a relationship, especially with people moving out of town. They need a lot of assistance about areas and different things to get established in the city.
So true.
You want to say, do our personalities match up? And it's not like a matchmaker, or we're not trying to do matchmakers here, but there are certain personalities that kind of clash. You have to feel comfortable with the person that you're working with, because a home is a huge investment. It's a huge decision, and the agent that you work with, you kind of want to have a decent relationship with, and you want to get along. They could be very stark and cold, or they could talk your head off and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to buy a house, stop trying to be my best friend. So do your personalities match? I think that is a big thing. A lot of people are looking for someone to kind of take them along the home buying process, and there's some agents are just 1, 2, 3, 4.
So if you're looking for like a hand holder, or someone that's going to explain, if a deal falls through or something like that, you'll want to check that out in their character and how they're handling you now when you're asking those questions. Some agents will tell you, I'm not a hand holder. I'll get the job done for you, but I'm not going to shoot the breeze or anything like that. And if you're comfortable with it, that's fine. And then again, some agents, listen, they are going to walk with you through that whole experience. Listen, they're going to check on you. They're going to check on your children. They may walk your dog, during the open house, whatever is needed. And finding the right agent will, again, help even more in that process. So, yeah, those are really good questions to see if they meet your expectations or if they can meet your expectations, for sure.
For sure. Another thing is, the expectations is a big thing because, you may feel like, oh, I have an agent working for me like it's a lawyer or like a sports agent. It can be a totally different experience. So you may have high expectations for your realtor. More than it may not be that they're a bad realtor. It just may not be their personality or you haven't expressed your expectations to that realtor, and so they don't know what to provide.
That's good. That's so good. Yeah. Let's pause there real quick. Let your agent know, okay? We've said this before too, but let your agent know when they're not meeting your expectations. Okay? If the last thing you want to do is go behind their back and try to find somebody else. That's the last thing. I'm telling you, as a representative of all agents, on behalf of all agents and agent teams, don't go behind their back and just try to find somebody else if they're not meeting your expectations. Have a meeting with them. Call them, let them know and say, hey, this is what I was expecting and I'm not getting this. Is there a reason why? Or, I just want to let you know my needs aren't being met. And then that gives them a chance to meet those expectations or, let you know, or maybe clarify some things and let you know what's going on. Right?
For sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but go ahead.
Oh, no, that's fine. Expectations are a big thing. And then, an agent can make a determination like, okay, this person needs are just way above what I have time and what I'm able or capable to handle at the time. And then at that point, if that agent is the right person for you or not, or if it's a good fit. And the biggest thing when working with an agent is if you're looking to buy a house, you want to work with an agent that has experience with helping people buy a house. Some agents only are more listing agents. So they aren't aware of programs and things that are available. Another thing is you want to work with an agent. If you're not looking to buy, you're looking to rent a house. Some agents don't want to work with renters. They don't want to work with rentals because it's kind of a different animal. It's a different transaction. You have to submit a rental application versus having a pre-approval mortgage. So if they don't work with people who need rentals, and you're working with an agent, they may be willing to do it, but they're kind of doing it like drag, kicking and screaming. What you call it?
Dragging, kicking and screaming.
You want to do that. And then it's the same thing with investment property too. If they don't deal with investment properties, they may not want to go show you that foreclosure that has the high grass and 3 mice running around in the property. That may not be their forte. That may not be their niche. So if you're looking for investment property, rentals, or even new construction too. So if you're working with an agent who has never sold new construction, or they don't have knowledge of the different builders that are available in the city, that can be an issue also. So if you're looking for new construction and you're buying, and your agent sells pre-existing homes most of the time, or they don't have knowledge of the builders and lots and locations in the city, that could be an issue also.
So what we do with the Willis team is we have initial consultations, and we don't work with anybody without having that initial consultation. We want to make sure we're a good fit for you, and we want to make sure we're a great fit for you, right, babe?
Indeed, the initial consultation is everything. It's just a quick 30 minutes for us to get to know you.
Right.
You can discuss your needs and your wants. You can hear our crazy story of being a husband and wife team working in real estate.
Yep.
We can set expectations about what your expectations are. What are you looking for in a realtor, and what are our expectations from the clients that we work with, and make sure that it's a good fit. And if it's not a good fit, no harm, no foul. You didn't pay anything, but at least you know that person that you're working with. And I think that it's easy to miss, or it's easy to not do in this market that we're in, because it's like, oh, let me hurry up and call the realtor so I can see this property. And then you call this realtor and he's like the realtor from hell, and it's like, oh my gosh, it was just a terrible experience.
Yeah.
And then in a similar fashion, the buyer or the client is just trying to hurry up and get somebody on the line, and they could be the client from hell, and that realtor is not in a position, or it's not a good fit for them. So having an interview or initial consultation is really key with working with an agent, so that you can have a successful transaction, and you can be happy with the home purchase, or the sale or the investment property,
or renting
or relocation, whatever the situation is. Just like you would interview anybody else or have a consultation with anybody else before you hire them, or have a permanent working relationship, it's very key to have. And I think that it's a great idea for all realtors and all people hiring a realtor.
Indeed. So, if you are looking to buy in the Las Vegas area and you are looking for a real estate agent, we would be happy to have that initial consultation with you. You can just give us a call at 702 249 9061, or you can send us an email at the Willis Team LV at gmail.com. We are also on all things social media, so you can find us on Facebook at the Willis Team LV. We've got a button right there on that page. You can hit it and you can schedule your appointment right then and there. And we're looking forward to meeting you, to talking with you, to seeing what your needs are and how we can meet them. And yeah, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Ask Jameen. All right, guys, have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.